Hi all, this is Dr. Dave Maslach talking to you about my peer proofreading and editing platform, reciprocity.com. Check it out, subscribe to the YouTube channel, make sure that you go onto the website. If you think it's cool, that you purchase some credits and you can use that for your own proofreading and editing. And if you don't want to purchase any credits, you can go on there and hopefully you can earn some of your own credits by proofreading other people's work. So hence the name reciprocity, right? So I wanted to talk to you today about where novel ideas come from and how do they come about. So I'm a researcher at a large research school in Florida. Guarantee most of you know where it is or what it is. So I wanted to I study innovation, technology, entrepreneurship, and the reason why I created this particular platform, Reciprocity, was because of my own problems that I had. It was really difficult or expensive to find different editors. B, I knew that there was a lot of people out there that are very, very well trained in the humanities and social sciences that find it very difficult to find a job. So I wanted to actually create some sort of platform that can sort of match people together. You could think of this as kind of like a dating site for proofreaders and editors and writers and authors and all that kind of stuff. So there is some great research that's going on right now in our field, particularly those that study how technology emerges or innovations emerge. And one of the ideas that have come about is how novel ideas come into play, right? And I'm going to put a link to one of the papers I think is very, very interesting that sort of explains this particular phenomenon. And how they typically evolve is that there is, from what we understand, so this is kind of very recent research in this area, is that people start developing a language, they start developing narratives about a particular idea that they can't quite, that they're trying to communicate the meaning to somebody else. And then once they develop this narrative, these sort of categories to explain mentions of what they're trying to do, then they start building this particular thing, right? So it's this multiple process, this sort of multiple process where you're developing a language, categories, what are called categories, and that's how we define particular things into sort of buckets, right? So it's a linguistic thing, it's a narrative thing, where we are defining things into different buckets, and then once we define those things into different buckets, we start to coalesce and converge on what the meanings are. And then once we develop those particular meanings for these different categories, then we start working on it. We develop a particular technology, right? And it starts evolving. And there is a thing that comes about from that, what is called a dominant design, dominant technological design. So what is that? Dominant technological design is where in a particular category or a particular, industry or product sector, there is one type of technology or one type of innovation that sort of dominates the market space. And so this could be, and generally we understand that as when we say dominating a market space, it is usually something that's it's probably got about 50% of the market share. So the iPhone, not particularly Apple or the Apple iPhone, but the design of the Apple iPhone is actually a dominant design, right? So the way that it's shaped, and actually if you look at the old Palm Pilots, you can see that there is significant resemblance between the Palm Pilots and the Apple iPhone. You can see that the way it's shaped and it's got the little button on the bottom, all that kind of stuff. That is a dominant design because multiple manufacturers are actually using this particular design. And so it's with this categorization where you have different languages and where we come up with different terminology, that is what sort of defines how we actually start thinking about this particular thing. what is really neat, so if I pull this back into what I'm trying to do, right? So I had to come up with this idea to communicate what exactly I wanted to do on this platform. I knew I wanted to incentivize people to be awesome and to give back. I also knew that it was going to be some sort of peer sharing thing that I wanted, and it was going to be related to proofreading, editing, beta reading, things like that. So I developed this language of the peer proofreading and editing platform, right, to communicate that there actually is, that you're helping out your friends. So the peers, I wanted to get away from this language of, I'm the high and mighty editor and I'm the high and mighty proofreader. I know everything sort of idea. And I am an author. I'm the best person in the world. And what I wanted to do is actually create sort of a community. What is a lot more like peers, where you are helping each other out, right? So the language, it sort of it takes away the hierarchy between the author and the editor, and is trying to create this language around we're just friends, we're just helping each other out, right? So I'm trying to create this notion of peer reciprocity. And if you think about how peer other peer-to-peer software works, so the like music sharing, for example, it's sort of based on this idea, but it's a lot less explicit. But I also wanted to sort of communicate the idea behind peer-to-peer software of how, or peer-to-peer music sharing software, right? So you can think that, oh yeah, this is about, helping other people out. It's a collective endeavor. And that is the reason why I've been using this terminology, peer proofreading and editing platform. And the other reason, so reciprocity, there's this terminology that is actually used a lot in our literature and how to explain, how trust is developed. And so normally the way with reciprocity, and it's also within legal studies and, thinking about governance and things like that. But how we think how trust develops is that it's actually, we don't develop trust in sort of a legal sense where we have a lot of contracts and stuff like that. But you have these sort of informal contracts, which is the more you reciprocate, the more that you interact with other people and you develop a relationship, the more that it actually, the more that you actually begin to trust that other person. So both people actually become more and more trustworthy. So I wanted to communicate that with reciprocity, to get people to think that, we're actually building a community and we're trying to help each other out. So if you like this video, you think it's interesting, you want to hear about more things that's related to technology, innovation, entrepreneurship, the behavioral sciences, as well as the peer proofreading and editing, make sure you subscribe. It definitely helps out. I actually want to get, my goal in the next few weeks, maybe in the next month, is to get to 100 subscribers. I want to get to, 1,000, 10,000 subscribers in the future. I know it's a long journey, but we'll get there. So the more that you subscribe, the more it helps. It also helps with getting more people interested, right, on this platform. The better it's going to be. And if you think it's a cool idea, what I'm trying to do, make sure you subscribe to the website, try it out, purchase some credits. All of those are going to be reinvested into developing it, making it better and better. So with that, thank you very much and have a good day. Take care. Bye.